Hello, and welcome to the Los Angeles Friends podcast, where I interview my friends who live in LA and show you that there are some really incredible people whose stories I want to help share. I'm your host, Emily, and today's guest is my history homie, Foo Howser. Javier is a film archivist, an LA local who hates King Taco, and an expert in California and Los Angeles history. He'll be sharing interesting stories about Los Angeles and his career archiving for a film studio. Well, how's your week?
So far, so good.
Yeah, it's Sunday, so it's the end
Yeah.
of your week.
Yeah.
Or do you view Sunday as the start of your week?
No, I'm not one of those people. Monday is Monday's the start of it.
Monday's the
Yeah,
start.
absolutely.
Yeah. I know you take public transportation to
Yeah.
work, right? You take the metro. How is that with the rain?
Oh, terrible. Luckily I take the Metrolink first and then I
Yeah.
take the subway. But when I used to take the Blue Line, when it's hot, they're like, oh, there's delays due to the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's raining, they're like, there's delays due to the weather. I'm like, dude, you built this outdoors. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But luckily, I didn't have any delays because of the rain this week.
I think we could all probably agree that the infrastructure here isn't built for the rain.
No.
And I don't know if it's like the lack of rain that there has been in, LA's history or what, or they just like didn't think about it. But I mean, yeah, climate change is real and now it's raining like crazy.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. Like our infrastructure is not built for it. It's
Yeah.
like we don't live in a desert because people will get about that. We live in a chaparral.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, wait, what?
I think it's called something chaparral, like CHAPARRAL. I think it's called,
Okay,
like the
yeah.
climate that we're in. But yeah, like we're not built for so much rain. So
Mhm.
whenever there's rain like we had last week, like you see everything floods because
Yeah.
we don't have the infrastructure for it.
I did see a video of this guy who he's not from LA, and he posted a video saying like, LA, I wasn't aware of your game. And he was like referencing a video. Well, he filmed a video of himself in a bus, in like a LA City bus, and the bus driver just went like right through a
Yeah.
big old
I know
puddle.
exactly what you're talking
It
about.
was so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I know actually when we were driving around the valley that day where it was coming down like crazy on Monday, I was counting all the drains. I'm like, okay, there's a drain here, but why isn't there one right here?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, that one está tapada, like someone needs to go,
Yeah.
fix it. And
Yeah, my neighborhood's the worst because where I live, all the water from the main street, we kind of live at like on an angle.
oh
So all the
shoot.
water comes down, but
Yeah.
there's no drains for like 4 blocks. So all the water goes all the way to like the next main street,
Shit.
and that's where the drains are. So
Yeah.
when you're like outside, there's just rivers, like, river coming this way and a river going that way. So yeah, like Whittier was not built
No.
for the rain. Absolutely not.
You're like,
No.
I need my little barquito.
Yeah.
Just go a little rowboat around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would want to stay home for sure if it's, I get to work remotely, thankfully, and I don't have to commute far. I commute like 20 feet, honestly, from
Yeah.
my bed to my
Yeah.
desk. So if it was raining like that, I'd want to stay home.
Yeah, no, when it's bad, like I actually like I have like waterproof like boots, and I like
Oh.
one of my coworkers that's from Arizona, he laughs at me because I'm like I don't like getting wet. So
No.
so I have like a waterproof jacket and like
Mhm.
waterproof pants that I put over.
That's smart.
But they're dark colors. It's not like I'm like running around like a neon yellow. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Imagine.
and so I'll go, and then when I get to work, I take that all off. And he like walks in and he's got like a gray hoodie, and he's
All
just
wet.
like drenched, and he's just walking without an umbrella. He's like, it's just rain, dude. I'm like, dude, I hate like that,
Yeah.
like walking around with your shoes
Soggy
squishy.
socks.
Like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want that, dude. Like,
Nah.
no.
When I moved to Oregon, I really learned the value of a good raincoat. And as it rains there all the time.
Yeah.
So then now here at home, like I got my raincoat. I don't have rain boots, but I do like wear boots that are waterproof. And I see people wearing like chanclas or Birkenstocks, their slides at the store when it's raining. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
Shorts.
Or shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, that's not
Yeah.
me. I couldn't do that. I know you're from LA. You're
Mhm.
from Highland Park.
Huntington.
Oh, to
Park.
Huntington Park.
Yeah.
My bad. Cancel me. No, don't cancel me. Okay, correction. He's from
Huntington Park.
Huntington Park. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about growing up there and what it was like? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I was born in Mexico. So I was born
Okay.
in
Yeah, yeah.
Uruapan, Michoacan. My parents came over when I was like 11 months old. The
You're like,
plan was never to stay
baby.
here. You know, it
Really?
was like we're gonna work enough to save some money and go
Uh-huh.
back to my dad's from Uruapan and my mom's from Quiroga. I don't know where they were gonna go back, but I'm assuming probably Uruapan.
Yeah.
But then I was like 4 years old, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna start school pretty soon." So,
Oh, shoot.
yeah, they enrolled me in school. So we first lived in South Central. So we lived
Yeah.
in South Central LA, and then when I was in the first grade, we started the process to move. So I started second grade in Huntington Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well,
it was great. I loved it. Like it was still kind of that um that time when we would be out with your friends until it got dark, and then
mm-hmm.
you'd come home, you know,
The
whenever
street lights
yeah,
turn
street
on.
lights turn on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to we were menace, like we were, you know, running around. We weren't bad kids. It's just, you know, we were running around just, you know, riding our bikes or,
Yeah.
you know, playing baseball in the back of the Miller's Outpost. You know, just we were just out all day.
Yeah.
But it was great because I my parents gave me a lot of freedom. So, you know, we would go to like the
Mm-hmm.
park together. We'd go to the arcade on Pacific Boulevard, which is like the big street in Huntington Park. And then one of my fondest memories is going to the movie theater, like matinee. Like I think on
Yeah.
Saturdays before one, it was like $3.
Oh, three
Yeah,
bucks for me was $7,
yeah.
but
And
yeah.
I used to get a ticket for because there's three movie theaters in Huntington Park.
Yeah.
We used to go to the California theater and had three screens. So I'd get a ticket for like a screen upstairs, and then I
Oh,
would sneak
and you
down
sneak
into the
down.
first floor.
That's
Yeah.
smart because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta go downstairs. Let me sneak into these other this other movie theater, you
Yeah.
know?
No, yeah. So I would go for like the whole day. I'd just spend the whole day just watching movies.
Yeah. Do you know any interesting facts about where you grew up and maybe some interesting facts about Whittier?
Yeah, so I
Sorry, I
mean,
just doxed you.
no, you're it's all good. I mean, I say it all the time.
Okay.
No, yeah, so like Huntington Park, like back in the day was like the place to go shopping.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they had, I mean, there's three movie theaters, like that's
Oh, that's
unheard
right.
of, you know.
Yeah.
The Metropolitan Theater is the only one that's still there,
Mm.
but there was a California Fox Theater and a Warner
Oh,
Brothers
okay.
Theater.
Oh,
And so the California Theater they turned it into stores now. And the Warner's still there,
oh,
but they had used it as a gym,
yeah.
but the Metropolitan is still a movie theater. But I remember growing up as a kid, I thought everybody had three movie theaters, you know.
Oh,
But yeah, so like so that's one of the things that was cool growing up. And
yeah.
I mean, Huntington Park is named after Henry E. Huntington,
Hmm.
who was like this, you know, big like businessman. He was probably one of the most influential people responsible for how Los Angeles and like the surrounding areas look like,
Oh, yeah.
because he built out a lot of the old rail car, like the train paths.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was because it wasn't so much to like make it easy for people to get around,
Hmm.
it was to sell real estate.
Oh,
So they built, you know, they would be like, oh, come buy a house in Pasadena, there's a red line car that
yeah.
runs by your house, you could be in downtown LA in 30 minutes or
Uh-huh.
whatever. So they kept building all these rail lines out, and just so they could be able to tell people, look, you can ride the red car and go to, you know, San Bernardino or Ontario or whatever.
Interesting.
And the guys that had originally bought the tract in Huntington Park, they wanted to attract a rail line through Huntington Park, because there
Oh,
was originally called the Sunshine Tract.
this,
And they were
that
like,
sounds
you
cute.
know, let's stroke his ego, tell him, hey, we're gonna rename the city Huntington Park. And so that's the reason why they put a rail line, a red car line through
Okay.
Huntington Park. Yeah.
Dang. I feel like it all kind of like goes back to capitalism then, like even now why our public transportation system like in LA isn't as popping as like Japan, Tokyo or New York City or like even London, is because they wanted to sell cars, right? And that's why there's so much. Our
Yeah.
freeways are ginormous, there's a ton of freeways, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's
Yeah,
to
it was
sell
like, yeah,
cars.
that whole thing was, it's infuriating because if you look at the old maps, you're like, man, the trains went everywhere,
Yeah.
and then they tore them up. Yeah, like, you know, there was a lot of factors that kind of led to it, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
cars and just like I said, they built them just to sell real estate, so there wasn't
Yeah.
really money in them in for them to maintain them.
Yeah.
So that's why they just kind of like started tearing up the tracks. But the
Dang, that
frustrating
sucks.
thing is that a lot of the lines that we have now
Mm-hmm.
run on the old like
Really?
right of ways. Yeah. So it's like you had the infrastructure, and then you're like, nah, we're gonna be car centric, tear it all up. And they're like, no, we need public transportation.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put the tracks back. It's like you already had it, and then you
Yeah, it was
just
already
tear it back
there.
up. Yeah. But yeah, so that's how Huntington Park, you know, got its name. And then Whittier was founded by Quakers, which
Oh
is
yeah.
Like it was like it's a sect, not sect, denomination of
Mm-hmm.
Christianity. Um, and so they went and a bunch of the Quakers bought land. I forget the name of the guy that owned the land there, and they bought land. And the way that Whittier got his name is that it's named after John
Mm-hmm.
Greenleaf Whittier, who's like a famous Quaker poet.
Oh,
So they named it in his honor, but he never visited, Whittier. Everyone thinks that he like was there.
really?
Yeah,
And he didn't even
yeah.
live
No,
there.
he just wrote a letter saying, "Hey, like we want to name this city after you,"
Uh,
and he was like, "Cool, here's a poem." But like
I'll
he,
take it. Yeah.
yeah, he never visited.
I,
But one of the things that I like sharing about Whittier is that the Pio Pico House, which is a museum. It's the house of the last Mexican governor of like Alta California when it was still part of
oh,
of Mexico.
yeah.
Um, his house is in Whittier,
No way.
and
I
Pico
didn't know
Rivera
that.
is right next door.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so what happened was that house was in Pico Rivera, but when Whittier was starting to make its boundaries,
Mm,
they were like, "Well, that'd be kind of cool to have in Whittier." So they literally just
he
like
stole it.
put the line around it, and they stole like
No
the
way.
house from Pico Rivera because Pico Rivera. I don't think Pico Rivera had incorporated yet.
Yeah.
So Whittier was like they stole. So like the Pio Pico house is not in Pico Rivera.
What the heck?
It's in
It's in
Whittier.
Whittier.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
silly. One thing that I really wanted to talk to you about
Mhm.
is your pursuit of higher education, because in my opinion, it's super important for especially like Latinos and first generation kids to pursue higher education, because at the end of the day, I think that will truly give us a leg up. I feel really strongly that higher education, like going to college, even like just going to community college, whatever it may be, can really give us a push.
Yeah. So originally, when I graduated high school, I thought I was like, man, I had a lot of like doubt, like
Yeah.
about myself. And
Mm.
so I remember I got accepted to Cal State Long Beach,
Oh, okay.
and I was afraid I was going to go there and mess up.
Mm.
So I didn't go to Cal State Long Beach. I went to
Hmm.
community college. So I went to Cerritos first,
Yeah.
and I was at Cerritos for a bit. And when I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was like, I want to be a firefighter. So
Hmm.
I transferred from Cerritos to Rio Hondo in
Hmm.
Whittier, and I got a degree in like fire technology.
Because they
And
have a program there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I got my EMT license. But my dad had always wanted me to like finish, my bachelor's degree because my dad
Mm.
only went to the 8th grade.
Hmm.
My dad was one of the most like intelligent people that I knew. Is just he got expelled because he got struck by a teacher, and he went home and told my grandpa. My grandpa went to the
Oh
school and
shit.
beat up the teacher. So
No way. I
this,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because he had siblings that became
Hmm.
like engineers,
Oh, okay.
and their kids, the kids of my cousins are like doctors and
Hmm.
like civil engineers and all this
Oh,
lawyers.
amazing.
So I know my dad could have done something like that, but
Yeah.
after that he stopped going to school. So his whole thing was always telling me and my brother like, you guys need to
You
like
have
finish
to.
school.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a job in the fire department, and then once I do that, I'll go back and get the bachelor's degree. That was like my plan,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I started working as an EMT, and then I had an accident. I got hurt. I had got a hernia working,
Hmm.
and it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because the year that I got the hernia and had surgery and was recovering, my dad passed away. And so I got a chance to spend like the last like 6 months of my dad's life,
Oh,
like
okay.
being around him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was bittersweet. My dad was 59 years old. I was, 20 20 20 21 going on 22 when he passed away.
Okay.
But after he passed away, I was like, you know what? Like my dad, I got to do this because he
Did it
wanted
for
me to do
him.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went back to community college. I went back to Cerritos to finish a degree in history because I
Hmm.
was like, what am I going to do? And I always liked history, so I did
Yeah.
that. And then I transferred to UC Merced
Hmm.
in the Central Valley, and I graduated from there in 2010.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I worked in the library, and I never thought about like librarianship as a job.
Yeah.
And I was like talking to librarians, and like a lot of people don't know this, but like librarians have master's degrees.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
have to have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
master's degree to be a librarian.
That's
And
so
so
incredible.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
it's because people think, well, what do they do? They just tell
They
you to be,
organize books
yeah,
and
they tell you to be
whatever.
quiet.
Yeah. I tell you to be quiet.
So I was like, I want to be a librarian. And so I graduated right at the Great Recession. So it
Uh-huh.
was like no jobs.
Oh.
I didn't want to go back to being an EMT. So one of my buddies work security at the studio where I work at. And he
Mhm.
was like, well, they're hiring over here. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I started working there while I was trying to like, I applied for grad school.
Yeah.
There was an issue with my application to go to library school, so I didn't get accepted because
Mm.
only UCLA and San Jose State have library programs here in
Oh, there's a
California.
whole program
Yeah,
dedicated to it. Yeah.
and so, but again, like blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
I started working and I worked an event where they had like an archive screening.
Mhm.
And I went up to somebody and I asked them, hey, like, do you work in the archive? And it was like the vice president of the
Oh,
archive.
shit.
Yeah.
They're like, "As a matter of fact,
Yeah. No,
I
it's no,
do."
it was funny because she was like, oh, kind of.
Oh.
And I asked her, hey, like, what do I have to do to get a job, like, in the
Yeah.
archive? And she was like, oh, go to UCLA, get a master's degree in
Get a
moving image
degree.
archive studies.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll do that. And yeah, I applied, I got in, and I was working full time at night and going to
Mhm.
grad school during the day.
That sounds rough.
And then like the last year, I was actually in the process of buying a house and getting married. So it was
Oh.
like all three things at once. It was like stressful, but I did it and it worked
Yeah.
out because I graduated. I got an internship right when I graduated. And
Mhm.
then when my internship ended, I got hired full time. So, I've been there for 16 years.
That's
And
awesome.
it's all because, like my dad pushing us to get, educated. And I don't think too, like my dad's whole point wasn't to like, like you have to get a degree, but it's like get a skill, like
Yeah,
learn
learn
something that make you
something.
like useful. Like don't just do like, backbreaking labor because that was
Right.
that was a thing that he did a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like it's not like my parents were like, "You have to go to college." But it was very much like, "Oh, you're going to college." And I don't think college is for everyone, and there are so many people that are successful without it. Like, you don't need a degree. But in the state of California, the first 2 years of a community college are free if you're a California resident, and I do think if you have the opportunity to go pursue, like, the first 2 years of school, like, why not if it's free? So I tell, like, all my little cousins, like, even if you don't think you want your bachelor's, like, just go, like,
Yeah.
2 years, get your general ed done, and then see if you like it or not, and then pursue, your bachelor's if yeah.
I think it just
Yeah.
makes you like a well-rounded person. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
get even if you just take a couple of classes and then you decide, you know what, I don't want to do this. They might have a program that you can learn how to be a plumber, you can learn how to be an AC
Exactly.
tech, you can do
Yeah.
something else, and
Trade school.
taking like the classes, like because people have so much focus on like even when they tell kids to go to school, right? It's like, oh, you got to do like tech,
Mhm.
whatever. But it's like the humanities, like like
Yeah.
they're very important, and I think a lot of the issues we have now is that people didn't take humanities classes, and like
Yeah.
taking sociology, psychology,
Mhm.
history, like all that stuff, like it gives you a different perspective on things. And so, it's like, yeah, if you're gonna be a electrical engineer or whatever, but you take like, humanities, like it kind of informs you a little more about
Yeah.
like, different perspectives and different things. And like
Mhm.
I said, like even if school's not for you, go in there, just give it, trying it out, taking a couple classes, you might
Yeah.
end up finding you're interested in something that the
Yeah.
school offers that you wouldn't know if you didn't go.
Exactly. And community colleges, like the classes are way more they're smaller, they're intimate. I feel like the teachers have more like bandwidth to have like professional relationships with their students. And yeah, I l- CC's all the way for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you finished at Rio Hondo, the EMT program,
Hmm.
but then you decided to go back to school.
Hmm.
You finished with the CC, and then you went to Merced. What was that like at UC Merced?
I
The
so
school there?
I wanted, so that was the whole thing is, when I graduated, I wanted to get the like college experience,
Yeah, of
right? So
course.
I got
Yeah.
accepted to Cal State LA, I got accepted to Cal State Long Beach. But I told my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I was like, I kind of want to. I know that if I stay here, I'm gonna be like working still, doing the EMT thing,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be just going to class, and I kind of want to get away and kind of get that experience.
Yeah.
So they offered me they offered me to go to UC Merced, and I went, and I loved it because that
Yeah.
was like my first time living, on my own. I lived in
Mhm.
the dorms the first year, and then I got an apartment my senior year.
Yeah.
But it was kind of exciting because the school had just opened, like UC Merced
Oh,
opened in
really?
2005.
Okay.
And I graduated with the second full class of
Mm.
the school. So it was cool that we got to like create our own traditions because
That's so
there was
cool.
no traditions to like follow,
Yeah.
you know. So it was like, one of the traditions that started is when you start, the freshmen that come in, there's a bridge that they all cross, so like
Mm.
symbolizing their the beginning of their journey. While I was going to school, they installed this big kind of like, it looks kind of like a U. It's like
Mhm.
this metal sculpture, and so you like walk through it when you graduate, kind of thing, you
That's
know.
cool. Yeah.
But I was really involved in Mecha,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was kind of cool because 2009 was the first like full graduating class from UC
Mhm.
Merced, and they had Michelle Obama do the commencement speech there.
No way.
And the way that, because I think at the time when I was going to UC Merced, I think it was like maybe 4,000 students or something like that. It's
Small,
tiny,
super small school. I mean, there's
and
high schools in LA with
there a lot.
4,000
Yeah.
students.
Um,
It's crazy.
It was funny because like schools like Harvard and UCLA were upset. They're like, "How did they get Michelle Obama to go, like do the commencement speech?" But what we did was we sent her a bunch of Valentine's cards
Oh,
and like kind of
cool.
tell her to come do the commencement speech. Told her the story of like, "Hey, this is the first graduating class from
Yeah.
this university."
Wait,
So
what year was this?
this was 2009.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
Obama was in his first
Yeah.
term.
And so
Yeah.
she did the commencement speech, but with Mecha, and there was a Latino student association and a Spanish speaker club.
Mhm.
We worked to make a Chicano Latino commencement ceremony.
Cool.
So Michelle Obama gave the main commencement speech, and Dolores Huerta gave the Chicano Latino
That's
commencement
awesome.
speech. And then my senior year, I was actually the president of Mecha,
Really? Okay.
and so we were trying to like, I kind of wanted to keep the Central Valley theme going
Mhm.
because the Central Valley gets a bad rap. People are always like,
That's true, like the armpit of
yeah, armpit of
California.
California. I think I'm really bad with names. I think it's Jose Fernandez or Luis Fernandez, the first Mexican astronaut. Or
Oh,
Luis Hernandez, that's his
okay.
name. He was the first Mexican astronaut, but he like worked in the fields as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
And so, he was up and down the Central Valley. So he gave the
No
commencement
way.
speech at my graduation.
That's
And
so, so
then the
cool.
year after I left, it was oh my god, I can't remember his name. He's the one that wrote Zoot Suit, right? The Zoot Suit, the
Oh,
play.
I don't know the name, but
Yeah,
I know who you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we kind of kept that theme going. It was kind of cool to like start that tradition or be part of it,
that's so
and
cool.
then know that it's continuing on.
Can you give, like, a quick little rundown on what Mecha is? Because I don't know
Sure.
if a lot of people.
Yeah. So like Mecha is stands for Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aztlán,
Mhm,
and it's a student group, the Chicano student group that started, in the 60s. I
mhm,
believe it was in Santa Barbara because it was like the first document. It's called El Plan de Santa Barbara, if I remember correctly.
mhm.
And it was, just in the time in the 60s where a lot of students were becoming politically active,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of time of like racial turmoil, and
Mhm.
so it was students taking a way to like be proud of who they are, and because that was kind of the thing of with black students and the Black Power movement, and so Chicanos had the Chicano Power movement, and
Mhm.
so that's how that group got started. So it's just basically like a thing for us to explore, like our identity. I
Yeah.
mean, even though I was born in Mexico, and usually people when they talk about Chicanos, they think Chicano just means, oh, you're an American born kid of Mexican parents.
Yeah.
And Chicano is not that. Like Chicano is like it's a term that has like political meaning behind it because it's
Yeah.
like it's a self describing thing. So you have to like understand sort of like the political ramifications of calling yourself a Chicano, and like why you call yourself a
Mhm.
Chicano.
Okay, so you went back to school, you got your
Mhm.
master's. Did you always know that you wanted to get your master's, or did you only do it because that woman told you, "You gotta go to grad school to be an
No, no,
archivist?"
I always wanted to get a master's,
Mhm.
I always wanted to get a PhD just so people call me doctor,
Just to say that you have
just
it,
to have
huh?
it. Now I'm kind of like the how hard, like the amount of like effort that it
Work.
took to get that master's degree. I'm like, you know what?
Well,
I'm okay.
how
Like,
how old were you when you got your master's?
this was 2013, so I was 29,
Okay,
going on
yeah.
30. Yeah.
Because I've thought about, like, I'm 29, I'll be
Hmm.
30 this year, and every, like, maybe once a year, I'm like, "Should I go back to school?" And I feel like as an adult now, I would be way better at school than I
Hmm.
was, when I was younger, just because I have life experience now and I'm older. but also it's expensive, so I don't know if I
Yeah,
want to do it. So
yeah.
I probably won't. I definitely will not. But if the opportunity was given to me and they're like, "Hey, we'll pay for you to go to like law school," I'd
Mhm.
be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go to law
Yeah,
school
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's free. Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?" But yeah, anyways. So you have your bachelor's in
Mhm.
history, and what's your master's in?
So it's called the program was called, Moving Image Archive Studies.
Moving Image Archive
Yeah,
Studies.
so
Okay.
basically, like, anything, moving image is, like, the fancy way of saying, like, film or,
Mhm.
like, even, like, video games or anything where there's moving images, television, that
Yeah.
kinda stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the program doesn't exist anymore. When they
Oh,
it
no?
was a yeah, so it was a combination between the School of Library Science,
Okay, yeah.
the film school, and
Mhm.
the archive. So it was like we took classes in all three of those departments. Now, if you want to kind of pursue like film archiving or moving image archiving, you get a master's degree in library science, and then you
Mhm.
have an emphasis. Your emphasis
Okay.
is on moving images, which I would have preferred because the MLIS, which is the Master's in Library Science, is a professional degree. So it's like,
Mhm.
if you get like your JD or your, MBA or whatever,
Yeah.
I just have a regular master's, there's no professional,
Ah,
no designation of it,
yeah.
but yeah, I think the program was around for like 10 years, like just like a
Whoa.
standalone kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then it got absorbed into the library school,
And where did you get your master's? Was it
UCLA.
UCLA?
Yeah.
What were you hoping to get out of your master's degree? Like, where did you want it to take you?
I was hoping that it would get me somewhere in like an archival setting because I wanted
Yeah.
to do that because um, when I was in school, I realized that in graduate school, um, I I was taking a cataloging class because it was in the part of the library school,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, cataloging, I hate this. And then after I was like, no, I love this because I like putting
Oh,
stuff in order and like my life is a mess.
so you're not type
No,
A.
no. My life is a mess, but when it comes to like information and like organizing it, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So, um, I was hoping that I'd be able to, be in an archival setting where I could put those kind of skills to
Mhm.
work. And I'm lucky that, that I am somewhere where I'm able to do that and, be involved in committees where we talk about, how are we going to catalog, how are we going to catalog this? How are we going to do
Mhm.
that? And so it's helpful. And actually almost all of my colleagues have master's degrees from UCLA.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's kind of cool because we all kind of went through the
Yeah.
program.
Okay, so your actual title for your career is archivist or senior
Yeah, I'm a senior media archivist. Yeah.
senior media, sorry,
Archivist. Senior
senior
media
media
archivist.
archivist.
Yeah.
I keep saying archivist,
Yeah.
archivist. I'm wondering if you could just walk us through what like a typical day
Yeah.
in your shoes at work is
Yeah.
like.
Well, so in where I work, we have uh, three teams that work in the archive that are like digital archivists. We have a team that does all of the what they call deliverables. So
Mhm.
once a show or a movie's wrapped, they have like a bunch of like hard drives and original camera files and kind of
Oh my
things that
god.
get sent to create the final thing.
Yeah.
They're the ones that receive all that material and put it
Uh-huh.
into the archive. We also have a preservation team, and they're the ones that are working on things like they just did a new scan of a movie, or they're working on a restoration of something, and they have like these the elements that came out of that. They're the ones putting in the system, and
Dang.
my team. I say my team. There's only two of us.
That's a
Uh,
team. That's
um,
a team.
we're what's called distribution, like
Mhm.
distribution ingest. And so basically, like if you've ever, you've watched a movie on Netflix or Amazon, you have the option of like changing the subtitle language or changing
Oh
the
yeah.
audio
Yeah,
language.
yeah.
Well, all those things are files. So each subtitle language is a file, each audio language is a file, the whole movie is a file. So
Oh my
what my
god.
team does is all those files that get created, and you have to think like if you have like one movie, right?
Yeah, how much
How many
data is
different
that?
languages it has to be like dubbed in? How many subtitles
Yeah.
languages does it need to have? So all of
So
those things come
interesting.
to us as single files,
Yeah.
and my team is responsible for like basically vetting that they're up to our like our technical
Mhm.
specifications, but that they're also what they say they are. So we'll get an audio file and it says that it's um, Spanish, and we'll play it so we can hear it,
Make
and
sure.
we're like, oh, that sounds Portuguese, that's wrong, and we'll send it back. And so I
Oh.
basically tell people it's like working in like if I worked at a restaurant
Yeah.
and I was like the kitchen manager,
Okay.
it's like I got a delivery of, the ingredients, and there's a box that says red onions. I'm like, I open it and it's red onions, cool, and I
Mhm.
put it in the pantry. So then when the chef goes to like grab a box of red onions, he knows that there's red onions in there.
Mhm.
And that's the same thing with us, is that whenever the studio sells like its content to like different clients,
Mhm.
they'll go to somebody like, let's say like Netflix, and they'll be like, hey, we got these 10 movies that we just have. Would you be interested in them? Like, and Netflix might say, yeah, we want it in these 5 languages, and we want it in this technical spec.
Yeah.
And then they go into the archive, or a digital, call it a digital asset management system, which all,
Yeah.
all the files are. They'll go in there and they'll grab the files that they need to create the packages that they sent to the client.
Whoa.
And so when they go in there, they want to make sure that if they're grabbing, Spanish,
Mhm.
Portuguese, whatever, that that stuff is actually what it says it is, and that
That's
it's
so
like up
cool.
to like spec that what they want, because
Yeah,
every delay is money. So you
that's
you
true.
send it over to them, and then now they're like, oh, well, we were gonna offer it on May 1st, but now we can't because you don't have that language. So now we're gonna have to push it back. You got to give us a
Oh
discount.
my
So it's the
goodness.
whole thing, and
There's a lot to it.
and every streamer is different in different regions, right? So
Yeah.
like here in the US, the language is,
Uh-huh.
English and Spanish, maybe French. But
Mhm.
like if you go somewhere like, Canada, it's like French Canadian and
Yeah.
English and maybe
Yeah.
Spanish. And then somewhere else might be, like in Europe, like somewhere like Belgium, where they speak
Yeah.
German and French
Oh,
and
that's
whatever.
yeah.
So it's a whole that's why like I don't watch a lot of movies because
I was gonna ask, like, you don't or do
yeah,
you like to watch
no, it's
movies?
because the thing is, like, when they come to us, we do what they call scrubbing. Like, we go through it, and so I watch like the same clip, like same 15-second clip
Oh, and
for
you're
like
like,
a
"I'm
hundred times.
over it."
And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. And
That's,
then I'll watch it like a few years later.
oh,
I I,
okay,
I
yeah.
watch I watch more like the series,
Uh-huh.
and like YouTube videos, just because it's the time commitment. I really
Mhm.
I really have to want to watch the movie to watch it.
Yeah.
And especially if it's one of ours, because if I've seen it like 100 times
You're
in a
like,
15-second clip, I
"I
don't
hate
want to
this
watch it.
movie."
No, no.
No, I get what you mean. I'd probably be sick of it too,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, dude, that your job is really cool.
Yeah,
So thank you for sharing
no,
about it.
it's funny because when we go to the studio, I'm always like, oh, it's work. But then
No,
like,
it's
and
cool.
then like I see like a cart full of like tourists drive by, and it's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
it's right.
No,
Like,
that's
yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause I don't think people really think of this. I'm sure there are thousands of people that don't even know that this is a job, so
Yeah, it's like there's so many people that there's like thousands of people that go into like keeping like, like making sure that movie
yeah.
gets to your, that you're able to stream it on Netflix or whatever. There's all these kind of like,
I didn't
it's almost like in the military, like
Uh-huh.
the pilot that flies the plane, he
Mhm.
gets all the glory, but all the guys that maintain it, the people that make
Yeah,
his food,
that
that
move it
maintain the
along.
base, all that kind of stuff. It's all like a support group,
Yeah.
and so in order for him to be able to fly, so that's kind of like the like we are. It's like the support group that kind of helps the movies get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You have a really cool job,
Thank you.
in my opinion, and I feel like in a lot of people's opinions. Okay, so we're wondering how the shift from film to digital media has changed um in archiving.
Oh,
Archive Did I say that
yeah,
right?
archiving,
Should
yeah.
I
No, no, no.
repeat the
No,
question?
no,
I
you're
feel
good.
like I said it
No,
fine.
it's funny because I like, a lot of us are very opinionated about this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're very much, for me, physical is king.
Yeah.
Physical media is king, just because, like I said, I work in a digital archive, and it's all
Mhm.
files. But, if you have a reel of film
Mhm.
and you store it properly, it'll last pretty much forever if it the right conditions.
Mhm.
So let's say I get a canister of film, I freeze it, and 100 years go by, right?
Mhm.
In 100 years, someone can grab that canister, hold it up to the light, and they can be like, oh, like this, there's like an elephant in this thing. It's interesting. Try doing that with a file.
No. I mean, files get
Like,
corrupted so easily too.
files get corrupted. Hard drives have like a lifespan of like 5 years if
Oh,
you're lucky. And then
don't
the
even
thing
s
is,
don't even get us started on hard drives. We have
yeah,
like 4 or 5 of them.
yeah, no, and then the thing is, as technology changes, you have to always, um, be migrating your data into the newest thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're accumulating data, but you also have all that other data that you had. And it's like, you're like, oh, you're on version 2.0. Well, now we have version 3.0, and version 3.0 isn't compatible with version 2.0. So
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
okay, now I got to upgrade
Yeah.
everything, and everyone always thinks that the cloud is like this magic silver bullet. And it's like, dude, the cloud is mainframes somewhere. It's not this like
No.
magical
It
place
can
that,
go out in like there's a
the
blackout,
blackout,
power
your
outage.
stuff's out. Yeah. So no, yeah,
Yeah.
there's been, there's been a huge shift in the industry, obviously to digital. Um, when I do go watch movies, I prefer to watch them in film
Yeah.
because there's stuff that
Uh-huh.
digital can't capture that
Um
film does. Yeah.
I know that Quentin Tarantino's, what is his theater called
Oh,
in
the
Los
the
Feliz?
Vista,
Yeah,
yeah.
they do some of the showings in like the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
film reels, which is really cool.
That's why I love Christopher Nolan, because
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
refuses to do digital. And like I remember when Oppenheimer came out,
Mhm.
I was
I
like,
still haven't watched that.
oh, my wife was like, "Oh, you wanna go watch that?" We were gonna do, like, the whole Barbenheimer thing, right? Barbie and Oppenheimer, and I was like, "We need to watch it in 70 millimeter IMAX." And
Okay.
she was like, "Why?"
You're
And
like,
I'm like,
"What?"
"No, so we went to Ontario to go watch it
Oh,
because I
shit.
couldn't get tickets to the Chinese theater,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. It's just, that there's something about, like, film, like digital, like, as far as, like, the blacks, like, the darkest darks,
Mhm.
and like light, it's digital. I mean, it's getting close, but it's still kind of, it doesn't get there. But there's
Yeah.
nothing like seeing like the grain of like
Mhm.
film. Like, it's just, yeah. So there's been a huge shift towards digital, but honestly, everybody still backs up stuff onto
Yeah,
physical formats. Yeah, because
you'd still do it.
you need it. Yeah.
Ugh. No, I mean, I've never really used like an old camcorder or anything like that, but I like to take photos in film,
Hmm.
and it is different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, there's just something about it, like the depth of field and the grain. Yeah, all of that. I love
No,
it.
no,
Yeah.
especially in photography. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like with digital cameras, like, we take like so many pictures. And I remember, like, when you stay at the old point and shoot, you're like, I have 27 pictures.
Yep.
So I need to like make it count. What am I going to take a picture of?
Mhm.
And now we're like, let me take a picture of my lunch. There's
You
like
take
10
a yeah.
pictures. You know what I mean? So yeah, there was definitely something that like was kind of like magical about, like, the point and shoot, because you're like, did it come out? I don't know. We'll
That's
find out
true.
when we get it back from
When I
Save
get
On
it
or wherever you want to go get
yeah,
developed. Yeah.
save-ons.
Yeah.
Now they hardly ever develop, they don't develop film at, like, Walgreens anymore
No.
or Rite Aid or
No.
anything. Is there, anything interesting about archiving that you think film nerds would appreciate hearing about?
I mean, we're always finding like new things, which
Yeah?
is pretty cool. Like, there's boxes in basements and things that
Mhm.
pop up. So there's always, something new that is found. And I think where I work at, we're doing a big effort to try to like save a lot of our old stuff
That's
and
awesome.
digitize it and make it available. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like, I work in a really cool place. I love the new stuff that comes in. That like, oh, we just found this box with these pictures of what happened? Something happened recently where I forget the actor, but they found a box, and it was like unreleased like press photos,
Oh,
and it was so
no
cool to
way.
like see, be like, you're like the first person to see this in like 50
Oh.
years or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's pretty cool to be able to do that. And like I said, my colleagues are doing a lot of amazing work in
Mhm.
restoration, and that stuff I will go watch when they
Yeah,
do a new restoration of a movie.
that is
I'll go
awesome.
watch it. Yeah.
I'm curious to hear, like, do you see a lot of people that look like you or that are Latinos in this field?
So no, and so that's kind of cool where I work at, because like my team we're both Mexican,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then one of my other colleagues is from Nicaragua.
Mhm.
But yeah, there isn't a lot of diversity as far as it comes like that. What I will say that is cool, that there's a lot of women,
Oh, yeah.
because traditionally librarianship and archival work was
Mhm.
traditionally like women. But yeah, it's cool that we have, like, as far when you compare us to other departments, there's a lot more women in our department, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as um oh, and then like my boss is Latina, so which is
Oh,
kind of cool,
okay.
you know what I
So
mean?
your
So
team
yeah,
yeah.
my team has a nice little kind of bit of that diversity. But
Yeah.
like overall, like, no, like the amount of it's always bring that up. Like, the amount of spending power that we have as Latinos when it comes to like movies is so huge, but we're like, our representation doesn't match that in the industry, which is
Mhm.
something that, should change,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard because a lot of stuff in the industry still a lot of like nepotism. You kind of have to know somebody to get you in,
100%.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So, but yeah, no, there's groups that, are trying to change that and like promote more Latinos in
Mhm.
film. There's a group, I think that's what they're called. I think they're called like Latino film professionals or something like that. They
Oh,
have like
okay.
they have like mixers every
Yeah.
so often.
That's cool.
So it's kind of cool to go and like, like meet fellow Latinos that are in the
Yeah.
industry and kind of see what kind of jobs they have and stuff. So yeah.
And I think that like kind of goes back to my point that I said earlier where I think it is really important for first generation kids of immigrant parents or people who have immigrated to the US to go to school because most of us aren't nepo babies. Like
No.
you think
Yeah.
my mom could get my leg in somewhere? Absolutely not.
Right.
Like my dad definitely couldn't have.
Yeah.
But
But one thing
so
for sure, I'm gonna make sure is that like if I have the opportunity to get someone in, I'm gonna get them in.
oh yeah.
I don't have that crabs in a bucket mentality. Like
Right.
pull the ladder up after me. It's like no, like it's
No,
like you have to like, you know, help people get a foot in the door, and
of
I'm
course.
always gonna do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Now I want to get into how we know each other,
yeah,
and we know each other. I'll say that we're like first internet friends because
yeah.
now we got to meet in person. But yeah, like we've met each other, I guess, on TikTok,
Hmm.
and you make really cool video content. Your project, History Homie Foo Howser, is surrounding California history
Hmm.
mainly, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, I want to if you can just like tell us quickly about it, and then we
yeah,
can get into it. And
yeah. No, so I mean, I've always liked history.
of course,
And if you've ever been in a car with me, like you know that you're gonna get some lecture about something.
so fun.
And so my wife's been the victim of it. So
Oh,
so we're driving somewhere and I'm always like, hey, this building or that. And she was always like, you should be a teacher. You should be doing something, doing
yeah.
that. And she got into TikTok, like, during COVID.
Hmm.
And so she was like, oh, you should check out this app. And I thought it was just like dancing.
I think a lot
And
of us
so,
thought
yeah,
that.
so I was
So
like, I'm not gonna
yeah.
get on that. And then so she's like, no, no. She's like, you can learn. People
Hmm.
get on here and teach you different things. And so I got on there and I started seeing some history content. And at the same time, I rediscovered Hugh Hauser because I grew up
Hmm.
watching him. And I was scrolling through YouTube and a video popped up and I was, oh my God, Hugh Hauser.
Hmm.
So I like started watching I watched everything that he ever did. And so then I was like, I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And so because Ellie, my wife, put me onto TikTok, I was like, let me try to do this. And so yeah, it took me a while. It was sort of that whole thing. I'm like, well, I need the perfect equipment. I need the, whatever. But I
Yeah.
finally just did it. And like the first video that I put out was on a park in Whittier. That's it used to be a cemetery and now it's a park.
Oh,
And so that video was like low quality like video, low quality audio, but it got like 40,000 views on
no
TikTok. And
way.
I was like, oh, so it's like this is like a thing, you know
You're
what I
like,
mean?
whoa,
Yeah.
am I a TikToker?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
dancing.
yeah, I'm an influencer now. But so I kind of started making videos like that, and then my wife, she suggested I make a video. She asked me, "Hey, how come there's all these like taquerias that have Bertos in their name. There's like Albertos, there's like this
There
and
is.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I know why. And she's like, well, you should make a video about it. And so I did. And then
Hmm.
that one went like viral. That one got picked up by Fools Gone Wild.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
the rapper Little Rob shared it. So it went viral. And somebody in the comments of Fools Gone Wild were like, oh, you're like Foo Howser. And I was like, I gotta run with that. That's
You're like,
perfect.
you're right, I am.
So yeah, so I ran with it, and I've just been putting out videos of California history. It's just stuff that has always interested me,
Hmm.
or things that I'll come across, and I'll be like, oh, like I'm sure people will think this is kind of cool. Kind of in the same spirit of like, because Hugh Hauser used to go and take you to these places,
Hmm.
and he would walk around with a microphone and interview people. I'm not there. Like I don't want to stick a microphone in someone's
No.
face. So I go in but I try to cover places that you can visit on your own. Like
Yeah.
something that's history, but it's also someplace you can visit. Because
You
I
can
kind of feel
experience
like,
it.
yeah, because like when you talk about history, it's always sort of like this like weird kind of like thing where you're like you don't feel a connection to it.
Yeah, it's like so far removed
Yeah.
by time where
But if you have like a building or like a
hmm
plaque or like a food, you're like, oh, you can. There's it's tangible, and so that's
Yeah,
why I
of course.
kind of get people to like get excited about
Yeah.
history, especially in California because we have so much great history here.
What's the most interesting piece of LA history that you know, or your favorite
Oh,
one?
LA
I'm sure you know
history.
so much.
Yeah, no, there's so yeah,
You
so
gotta
much.
pick if you had to
Well,
pick
so I
one.
would say like one of the things is that people don't know that like we were like a huge one of the first industries in LA was wine.
Yeah.
We had wineries in Los Angeles.
And when you think of
Yeah,
LA, you don't think wine.
you don't think about wine. I
Yeah,
mean,
not at
so you've
all.
heard of the San Antonio winery, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like they're
Actually,
like
yeah.
the last
Yeah.
one that's like left here, but all along like off the 101
Mhm.
near like Overa Street, like all of that land used to be just vineyards. It was just
Really?
vineyards, and actually, if you go to Overa Street and you walk, there's actually a grapevine that's like
Mhm.
that's kind of like circling like the wood trestles
Yeah.
that are there, and that's actually a cutting of the mother plant that's at Mission San Gabriel,
Oh, and they
and
propagated it.
the vine at Mission San Gabriel still produces grapes,
No
and
way.
there's a winery that's making wine from that vine. So
Aw.
that vine was brought by the padres during the mission
Mhm.
era. They used to make Sacramento wine with it. Somebody actually found the original recipe for the wine they used to make,
Oh,
and
that's so
so they make a bottle.
cool.
So I bought a bottle last year
Was it good?
because I know because I'm planning on making a video
Oh, okay.
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not gonna open it till then. But it was like $70. It was like a $70
Oh,
bottle of
shit.
wine. But it's kind of cool because it's made with the vine
Yeah,
the
it's a
grapes from San
historical.
Gabriel, and it's
Yeah.
the original recipe. So yeah, so wine was a big industry
Okay.
in the beginning of LA. Yeah.
One of your videos that I had seen was your video on the donut hole.
Hmm.
And the donut hole is in La Puente, and it's quite literally like a drive-through building in the shape of a donut,
Yeah.
a chocolate donut. And I grew up going there. Actually, if you guys want to bring him onto the set, Javier brought us donuts, guys, because he's awesome.
Yeah. Donuts from from the donut hole.
From the donut hole. Dude, I know I'm getting hungry. These are gorgeous. Look how beautiful these. Oh, these are
Yeah.
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 Actually, my my favorite donut is a sugar donut.
That's
And
awesome.
then my second favorite are these like the oh, I gotta show the
Yeah.
camera.
Oh yeah.
Are
Yeah.
these sprinkle donuts? But I like that they're like
The cake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't eat one on camera because I don't want to subject you guys to me being a monster. But no, the donut hole holds like such a special place in my heart because
Hmm.
I grew up in La Puente. But um when we first moved to like the my childhood home, I still went to the high or to the elementary school on the other side of La Puente.
Hmm.
So my mom for like the rest of, first grade was driving me from one side of La Puente
Hmm.
to my elementary school on the other side of La Puente. And every morning we'd stop for a donut at the
Yes.
donut hole and I would get my sugar donut. But I'm kind of weird. I think this is a weird thing because I've never seen anyone else do it. But they give you the single donuts in like the wax paper,
Hmm.
right? Like parchment paper. And I like to squish mine.
Oh
I like to squish my sugar
yeah. Yeah.
donut and then I eat it
Yeah.
squished.
That's sufficient.
And I still eat it like
Because you can eat more donuts that way.
yeah, and you don't make
Yeah.
that much of a mess. But I still eat my donut like that, and then my sister would always get a chocolate donut. But another reason like this place is just special to my heart is because every weekend my dad like because he would get up super fucking
Hmm.
early would go and then bring us home a
Yeah.
dozen donuts
Yeah.
and it's just special and it's a nice thought like my dad passed away a few
Hmm.
years ago and even like anytime I'd come back home like he would still as an
Yeah.
adult like oh let me go get donuts and yeah always from the donut hole never anywhere else so yeah thank you for
No,
bringing us some
you're
donuts
welcome.
and thanks for doing a fun little story on the donut
Yeah,
hole.
no, of course. No,
Yeah.
it's one of those. I love that type of architecture that's called programmatic. So it's basically like you make the
Uh-huh.
building look like whatever you're selling.
Yeah.
Because basically like when car culture started in the 20s and 30s, it was like I need to attract people to my business, and it's like why
Mhm.
put a sign outside? Just make the whole building be like, hey, it's a giant donut.
Yeah.
And the donut hole is kind of weird because the heyday of that architecture was, like I said, like the 20s and 30s. So like around like it kind of sort of died down like the 50s. So the donut hole was like it was a chain. It was started in 1963.
Uh-huh.
The La Puente one was built in 1968. So for like as far as like
Wow.
in the timeline of like programmatic
60
architecture,
years
it's
old.
pretty late
Yeah.
in the game, but it's the only one that still exists as a donut shop. There's 2 other buildings that used to be donut holes
Mhm.
that are still there. There's one that's like a taqueria, and
That's so funny.
you drive through and get tacos,
Yeah.
and then the other one's the Round Table Pizza, but the
Pizza
one in La
spot.
Puente is still the only one that's a donut
Yeah.
shop, yeah.
I, if you go, they don't take card. It's
Mm-mm.
cash
Yeah.
only.
I had to stop and get cash
Oh,
today.
yeah. And it's such on, like, an interesting little corner, huh?
Yeah.
Like, how it veers it's like a fork in the road, but, I remember one time someone crashed into the donut hole, and we would joke like, "Oh, alguien se echó una mordida," like, someone took a bite out of the donut hole, and it took a while for them to fix it,
Yeah.
but I thought it would have been such a good opportunity for them to, like, fix it in a way where it actually looked like a
Yeah.
bite, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it was much more affordable to just,
Ye
like,
just
fix the
yeah.
plaster over it, but
That would've been awesome though, to
I
have a
know.
little bite in the corner of the donut,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope they never take that place down
Yeah,
because
me
it's
neither.
so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you can drive through it, like, that's convenient. I don't wanna get in my car to get donuts,
I
you
know I
know?
don't have to get
Yeah.
out, no nothing. You, like, have such a big emphasis on LA history, and I think probably naturally because you're from LA, right?
Mhm.
So it matters to you and it's interesting to you. Why do you think knowing the history of a city is so important? Like, why should it matter to us?
You know, it's sort of the thing where you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been kinda thing.
Mm,
And I think also it's just, it instills, like, pride in people in their city, you know what I
mhm,
mean? Because I know that's one of the biggest, like, feedbacks that I get is when someone's like, "Thank you for telling this story about this place in my city."
mm,
Because every time my city's mentioned, it's always crime or it's always something negative. And so,
mhm.
like, now I have something positive that I can, like, turn around and, like, point to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's my whole thing is, like, I wanna, like, let people know, like, "Hey, there's so much cool stuff in your neighborhood that you might not know, and it's important to preserve it," you know, because a lot of these historical societies, you know, they're run by volunteers. Usually, they're a lot
mhm.
older, and you kinda need younger people to, like, get into it, you know what I mean? And so, I hope that when I'm doing this, it gets people interested in wanting to, like, go out and look up stuff on their own or maybe, you know, like the donut holes are like, "Oh, yeah, I knew that place was always there, but I know the history of it.
Yeah,
What other stuff is around here that kinda has an interesting story?" You know what I mean? It's just I feel like you need to be proud of where you live, like your city, your neighborhood,
of course.
and I think that that's a cool way to kinda sort of, like, highlight, like, different parts of, obviously, like, I do California history, but I live in the Southland, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of LA-centric stuff and Inland Empire, you know, that kinda stuff, but it's mostly because of that. It's like there's people that live in these neighborhoods, there's people that live in these cities, and you know they're proud of living there, and it's nice to have
Absolutely.
something that's not negative. You know, I try to
Yeah.
just be positive with the stuff that I post. You know,
And the beautiful thing of living in LA, where to me, LA isn't just your address is Los Angeles, but it's LA County.
thank you.
And yeah. And to me, like, I feel we're so lucky that there's so much diversity in all of these different cities and neighborhoods within LA that it's so different and like we can always learn more and explore more. And there's just like endless things for us to discover in LA. And I don't know, it's just truly a beautiful place. And that's also a reason why like I wanted to start this podcast because like with that, there's also some really amazing people here. And I want everyone else to know that and to experience that,
Yeah,
whether or not they live in LA or not. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, people are like, oh, you're from LA or like or they think it's just a bunch of transplants or rude people
yeah,
or whatever, but, no, we're really lucky, like, LA
yeah,
is amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you said, all the transplants always complain about. There's nothing to do in LA. You know, it's like
Like,
you
there's a
know, was
lot.
it what Kendrick said? What like don't talk about LA if you haven't traveled past the 10.
Yep.
You know, it's like yeah, like if you know if all you know is West Hollywood or
Mhm.
wherever you stay at, and you're like, oh, I can't get a good, you know, Chinese food, or I can't get
Oh,
whatever.
man.
You've obviously never been to the San Gabriel Valley, you know, like pretty much
Right. SGV.
yeah, any cuisine that you
Mhm.
want, you can get it here. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, like, my favorite, Japanese curry spot is in Pasadena.
mhm,
My favorite burger spot was in Alhambra, now it's in Long Beach, and my favorite Chinese restaurant is in Chinatown,
mhm,
but, like, there's so many different places in LA to explore, and we're fucking lucky. This
yeah.
place is
Nah,
amazing.
you can wake up in the morning and be like, I want Taiwanese for breakfast. Lunchtime, I want, you know,
Yeah.
Peruvian and then dinner time
Mhm.
Korean barbecue. It's like, yeah, where else can you do that?
Right. Yeah, and you're so right. Like this morning I had tamales for breakfast. Maybe for dinner I'll do something else. Like a little something. Um oh, this is a fun question. What's a place people drive by every day that has one of the most wildest backstories that Angelinos don't usually know?
Ooh,
Sorry, put you on the
no,
spot
no,
there.
no. This
That's
one,
fun.
I've done a video on it, and a lot of people don't know this.
Oh yeah.
The Sears building in Boyle Heights.
Oh.
It's right on the corner of
Mhm.
Olympic and Soto.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was like the Amazon of its time before Amazon was like a thing.
Mhm.
Because like you've heard of the Sears catalog, right?
Yep.
Like people used to
Mm.
order things from the Sears catalog. You could buy a house from the Sears
Wait,
catalog.
no way.
Yeah. So like
What?
they used to sell you like Craftsman. You heard like of Craftsman House.
Yay.
Yeah. So it's like Craftsman Tools is from Sears. So you
Oh.
used to be able to like, go in there and be like, oh yeah, I want to build a house. And they would put the material on a train car and
What the
send it
heck?
over to you. And then they give you instructions on how to build a house. But Sears was so big and they had that catalog. They needed places to put like warehouses to house their inventory.
Okay.
So the Sears building that's in Boyle Heights, if I remember correctly, it was built like in 19, don't quote me because I'm bad on dates. But I
We
think it
could
was like
fact check
I think it
it.
was like late 1920s, early 1930s.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
built in 6 months, like in like
That's so
record pace.
fast.
Yeah, they were working like day and night.
Oh,
But
whoa.
that was their distribution center for everything west of the Rockies.
Oh,
So
wow.
that place, like the actual Sears store, was only like 3 stories and whatever. But that thing has this huge warehouse that's like 6 stories high.
Uh-huh.
They had inventory there, and it was so big that so like let's say you were here, you ordered let's say a blender from the
Mhm.
Sears catalog. It was probably sitting in the warehouse at the
In
in Boyle
Boyle Heights.
Heights, and it was so big that the workers that worked there used to skate around on roller skates
No
to
way.
grab the things. So they would like get the order and like skate because it was so big,
Oh,
find the thing,
shit.
skate back, and there was a train. There's the tracks are still there. They would throw the stuff on like a slide and it would go down and it would get delivered.
Whoa.
So that was like the Amazon infrastructure before now, because now you
Yeah.
have all these distribution centers for
Crazy amount of
Amazon
them.
and Inland Empire and everywhere, and it's so you can have stuff to send it out next day or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that building,
Crazy.
people. I know, like when I was a kid, growing up in Huntington Park, when we were on the freeway, you could see the neon sign of Sears
Uh-huh.
from the
Yeah.
freeway. That's how we knew we were almost
You're
home.
almost
So I'm sure people on the freeway see it all the time,
Yeah,
or
they don't
driving
think
down
anything
Soda or
about it.
Olympic. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Sears building. But yeah,
Yeah. And now there's no Sears stores
yeah,
like at the malls,
no,
or maybe there might be a couple standalone ones that still sell like dishwashers
yeah.
and that kind of stuff, but yeah, Sears is no
Yeah, there's
more.
there's a Sears by my house, and yeah, it's like it's always it always empty, but it's
Mhm.
there's somebody there though, like working,
Yeah.
but it's like dead in there. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Is there an area in LA whose history is misunderstood?
like people have like a preconceived notion of a certain neighborhood, and it
Oh
turns
yeah.
out to be like something different. And
Mhm.
I was thinking of like Boyle Heights again, and it's just because like right now Boyle Heights is there's a lot of Mexican culture in Boyle Heights,
Yeah.
but it didn't start off that way. Like Boyle Heights, I feel like Boyle Heights is a really great neighborhood as far as like a reflection of like the evolution of like LA.
Mhm.
Because there was people there that were like it was like the Jewish like neighborhood for a long time.
I had
So
no idea.
like I believe
Whoa.
it's Cantor's, the Jewish
Mhm.
deli, that their original location was in Boyle Heights. So there was a lot of there was like it's a neighborhood that has constantly had people come in and sort
Mhm.
of people move out and another group comes in. So there was a lot of it was a Jewish neighborhood. It had a high population of Japanese, so there was a lot of Japanese people that lived there for a while.
Whoa.
And at one point there was that mix of there was Mexicans and Japanese and Russians and people from other parts of Eastern Europe. So but now it's mostly
Predominantly
predominantly Latino.
Yeah.
And so I think some people think that it's always been that way,
Mm.
and it hasn't. It's gone through evolutions, and so there's still things that you can see. I mean, there's still like a Jewish temple
Mhm.
that was there from the time
Okay.
And then there's also the oldest Japanese restaurant in Los Angeles is there.
Oh, have you been?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's
Yeah,
good?
it's
Yeah.
a it's tiny. It's like, counter space and maybe like 3 tables.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's called like
Small.
Otama-san, I think it's called.
Okay.
And it's right across the street from a Buddhist temple.
Okay.
It's like Rio. I think Buddhist temple's called like Rio Ko, something like that.
Mhm.
But it's kind of cool because in the middle of Boyle Heights, there's a Japanese restaurant,
Yeah,
there's a
wow.
Buddhist temple, and so I think yeah, that would be the neighborhood that I think people might have a not so much a misunderstanding of it, but maybe have like a preconceived notion
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
See, and that's so cool how, like, again, just how amazing LA is that there's all these different cultures that are in all the different pockets of, LA and all the different corners of it, and they just like coincide and live
yeah,
together. Like La Puente is predominantly like Latino,
hmm,
but there's also a lot of Asian families there
yeah,
too. So I grew up, eating Thai food,
hmm,
Vietnamese food, so much diversity when it came to like gastronomy in La Puente of
yeah,
all
yeah,
places. Um, but it's cool. Like I was exposed to a lot of things that I wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise if I only lived in a neighborhood where there's only Latinos or only
yeah,
Mexicans.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's cool. Something from the crew,
Hmm.
or our crew of two, Maite and Hema. Crew nonetheless. But they were actually wondering, and they had mentioned this to me earlier, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing. But have you heard of lectures on tap?
So I actually did Nerd Night LA, which is
Oh,
which is
similar?
similar. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so I did Nerd Night LA last year.
Mhm.
I did a lecture on Baker's Burger, the 6 degrees of Neil Baker, which is
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have heard of Baker's Burgers.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want me, I can get into it if you guys want me to talk about it.
I've heard Baker, they're in LA, right? Or
No, they're
no? No, they're in
only
Arizona.
only in the Inland Empire.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Okay.
So
See? Yeah,
so
educate me.
so like Baker, I think do I have the pin on today? I think I do have a Baker's pin, do I? Oh yeah, right there. Sorry. Baker's.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought
S-
Arizona.
So
See? I don't know
Baker's
anything.
the guy Neil Baker.
Mhm.
He was he grew up in San Bernardino. And he graduated high school. He tried to go into the military. He couldn't because he had a bad vision and an eye. He had like an eye condition. So
Okay.
he went into business with his family. They started making bricks. They built a brickyard, making
Mhm.
adobe bricks. And one of his friends had gone off to the military, came back. He hired him to help him move bricks. His friend's name was Glenn Bell of with Taco Bell fame.
Oh,
So
I love
s-
Taco
yeah,
Bell.
so Neil Baker, while he was doing working construction and doing the Adobe Brickyard, he actually helped these brothers with their restaurant because they
Mhm.
had just moved their restaurant to San Bernardino. And it was like a little restaurant, tiny little restaurant you might have heard of, McDonald's. So Neil Baker
Mhm.
was involved in helping McDonald's brothers when they moved their restaurant to San Bernardino. Then
What?
he hired Glenn Bell to work as a bricklayer, at his brickyard moving bricks. And him and his buddy Glenn Bell would sit in the parking lot of the McDonald's
Mhm.
and be like, "Man, it's crazy how much business these guys are doing. They're making a lot of money." So
Insane.
then Glenn Bell turned to beat Neil Baker and was like, "I'm gonna open a burger shop, and you're gonna help me. You're gonna help me."
Mm.
So Neil Baker helped Glenn Bell open up Bell's Burgers, which was
Mhm.
the original location across the street from a place called Meat La Cafe.
Oh.
They made
Mhm.
deep fried ground beef tacos. So that's where
Mhm.
Glenn Bell got the idea for Taco
No
Bell
way.
from a Mexican restaurant called Meat La Cafe in San Bernardino.
What?
Yeah.
See, this is so cool.
So he got the idea from them. So he went off and created, Taco Bell. So then Neil Baker was like, "Oh, I
What?
want to get into the fast food thing." So he started a
Yeah.
restaurant, started a burger place in 1952 in San Bernardino, and then like in 1957, I think he was like, "Well, Glenn is doing real good with Mexican food. I'm going to add it to my menu." So he was the first restaurant that introduced the concept of a twin kitchen. So sometimes you go to like a Carl's Jr. and it's a green burrito, or
Ah,
a
yeah, yeah,
KFC and a
yeah.
Pizza Hut. His
Uh-huh.
restaurant was the first one that had Mexican food and American food in the same
Oh,
place.
okay,
And so
cool.
he
Yeah.
started that. And then while he had that, he had two guys that worked for him.
Mm.
One guy, his name was what was this dude's name? I can try to remember. John Gallardi. John Gallardi worked for Glenn Bell and Neil Baker, and he went off and started a place called Wiener Schnitzel.
What?
And then the
Dude,
other the
what
other
the
guy,
heck?
yeah, the other guy that worked for him was a guy named Ed Hackbarth, And at Hack Barth, after working for both Glenn Bell and Neil Baker, he went off and started Del Taco.
Dang.
So like this one restaurant, Baker's, Neil Baker, has all these connections to all these different restaurants.
That's
and
wild.
That's why I say like pretty much the San Bernardino was like the Silicon Valley of like fast food, because so many fast food places came from there.
We're giving a lot of credit to the San Bernardino County folks.
Yeah,
They're gonna love this shit. Yeah, guys. We have the IE is cool. The IE cool. I got some good friends in the IE. I will say that. I want to ask you something super, super important. What is your LA hot take?
And a lot of people are gonna get upset about it. I don't like King Taco.
Oh.
There's better taco spots than King Taco. And I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it, but I always say like I give them their flowers, right? The King Taco is responsible for the taco truck.
Wait, no way.
Yeah. So
look at this.
So
history.
I forget the name of the gentleman that started it, but he converted an ice cream truck to be able to sell tacos out of it.
Genius idea.
Because he started selling tacos at like soccer games.
So cool.
And at the park or something. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to convert the ice cream truck into, to be able to sell tacos. So I think he did that for like 6 months. He made enough money to open up the first, King Taco. And, that it exploded and it's a thing. I didn't grow up eating it.
Yeah,
my parents didn't like it. So I know there's a lot of people that are fierce defenders of it. Like I said, I don't hate it. It's not for me. I don't like it. But there's a lot of people that do. Like I said, I give them their flowers, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
You know what? I agree with you. I hate that they don't have lemons or limes. And then this is annoying because I saw someone's argument saying like, oh, people only don't like they don't like, oh my God, see, I can't even remember the name. They don't like King Taco because they don't have limes. And you don't need limes, they season the meat. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Yes, obviously season the meat, but you do need limes. That's a fucking taco staple.
Yeah.
You put fresh lime on there, some cilantro, if you don't have the soap taste gene, and then some onion, and that's a taco.
Yeah.
But no lime is just like, that's where I draw the line.
That was the first time I went. That was the thing. I was like, oh, can I get some? Can I get some? And
some
like,
limones?
Like, oh no, limones. I'm like,
oh,
like,
why
what?
not?
And I was like, yeah. So that was the thing. And so people are very passionate about it. And then the thing people always tell me is like, oh, the red sauce is so good. And I always like, okay, well then change the name of the restaurant. Call it King Red Sauce. Don't call it King Taco.
Don't call it King Taco.
And so then like, my brother-in-law, who I love, but he's like a staunch, like, he's always like, well, it's always like thinking, well, which one did you go to? And I'm like, look, man,
come on.
If I go to In-N-Out in Bakersfield, or I go to In-N-Out in Whittier, or I go to In-N-Out in Oakland or wherever it is, I'm going to get the same consistency thing. And it's always like, oh, well, it's because you went to that one. You should have gone to this other one. And I'm like, no, come on. So like I said, like they're going to make the King Taco #1 historical, like they're going to give it a historical designation, which is cool. Like I said, it's all props to the pioneer of the taco truck. Much respect.
That's awesome.
If you grew up eating King Taco, more power to you.
Yeah.
Just don't invite me.
Yeah, just don't invite me. Thanks for sharing your hot take.
Of course.
That's a good one. That is a great hot take. Okay. So we know what's your least favorite taco spot in LA. What is your favorite taco spot in LA?
Oh, so I love Los Cinco Puntos in East LA.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've ever watched I always call it the Citizen Kane of Chicano film, Blood In, Blood Out. That's, 3 hours of just cinema. When Miklo gets out of jail, the first place he goes to is Los Cinco Puntos, and he goes and he orders a tamal and he eats it right outside of it. I love it because they're making the tortillas there. Like there's ladies like grinding up the corn on the metate, and they're making the tortilla, and the tortillas are thick. They're like flapjacks.
Oh shit.
And you go there, you can get like, 2 tacos, you're good. And they have like carnitas, they have all kinds, you can put nopales on it, guacamole. So like I love going to Los Cinco Puntos, and usually people ask me to take them to a taco spot. I'll take them there. That's like my favorite place to get tacos is Los Cinco Puntos. Yeah.
Yeah. Another taco spot that is very famous in LA is Leo's Tacos. And Leo's Tacos is good. But I've had way better al pastor tacos somewhere else,
Yeah.
and better carne asada
Mhm.
tacos. My favorite taco spot is here in the Valley in North Hollywood
Mhm.
off of Laurel Canyon. And I don't know what the other cross street is, but it's by the Planet Fitness. And it's actually across the street from where the first like LA shootout was with the cops and the bank
Oh,
robbers
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
That's a really cool piece of California
Yeah.
or LA history. My
Absolutely.
boyfriend told me about that. But they have some of the best tacos ever.
Mm.
And it's just like a, you know, like a little side of the road kind of
Mhm.
thing. Their tacos are bomb too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to
Yeah.
get that name later.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. But that's another cool thing about LA is that there are food vendors just popping up on
Yeah.
sidewalks everywhere. Not
Yeah.
even just taco vendors, but like, you know, shawarma or like even Chinese food, anything like anything could be just like a pop-up
Yeah.
side of the road street vendor. And I've had friends visit from other countries and they're like, I've never had a taco in a fucking parking lot
Yeah.
in front of a Planet
Yeah.
Fitness. Like
Yeah.
that's so weird, but this is cool. Like,
Yeah.
and we're like, yeah, this is safe. Like this is
No,
good
I mean,
food.
I have never gotten food poisoning
Me neither.
from
Yeah.
a street vendor, but I have gotten food poisoning from chain restaurants.
Yeah.
And I won't say which one because I don't want to, you know, whatever. But
Oh.
every single time it's been a chain restaurant. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. All right, we're gonna do this fun little segment, which has been made just for you
Mm,
by Hema and Mike Them.
sweet.
A little history quick fire.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ask you 6 questions, and then just choose your favorite, and then we'll run with
Okay,
it.
got it.
Okay, you ready? What's a building or site that quietly holds a huge story?
The tamale in East LA.
That's okay. You don't want to expand on it.
A couple.
Okay,
Little
you give us a cute little blurb.
The tamale in East LA, it's my favorite building in all of Los Angeles. It's a building that's shaped like a giant tamal,
That's fucking awesome.
and that's all you need to know.
All right, hell yeah. Are there films that were considered flops at the time but are historically important now?
Absolutely, there's so many of them.
Mhm.
One of my favorite movies is The Big Lebowski.
Mhm.
When it came out, it was considered a flop, and it's become a cult classic.
Yeah.
Especially because it takes place in LA. So there's a lot of stuff that you see in the movie that takes place in LA.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Give us one LA history fact we can use to impress someone at a party. Well, that's fun.
Damn. Let's see, I'm at the default back to, you know, one of the first industries here was wine in Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
I'll be like, my friend who's a historian told me this. I won't run it as my own. I like that. Yeah. What's a historical feud, scandal, or rivalry Angelinos should know about?
Ooh. I mean, one of the biggest rivalries is Garfield versus Roosevelt, as football.
High schools?
The 2 high schools in East LA, that goes back decades.
Yeah.
And I think the only time they didn't play it was during World War II because, you know,
Mhm.
they were off fighting, and then also during COVID. But that's heated. Like, depending on what side of East LA you're born in,
No way.
you either go to Garfield or Roosevelt, and it's lifelong. It's not like, you know, just when you're in high school. Like, there's like generations of it. And so like,
Damn.
yeah, if you don't know about it, Roosevelt and Garfield, it's a huge game. I think they've played it at the Coliseum before.
Oh,
So yeah,
really?
it's huge.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Dang, they're like, we've got beef from before I was born,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Is there a California or LA historical rabbit hole you think we should go down?
Ooh. I think my favorite type of rabbit hole to go down is people don't know that we used to have a lot of animal farms here in Southern California. So it was like
Oh.
an alligator farm, there was like a lion farm, there was an ostrich farm, there was a Lyon County safari down in Orange County. Like, we
Sorry,
have
Mike.
so many like animal farms, and you go down looking at one, you find another one, and it's just keep peeling back, and you're like, we had Monkey Island in Hollywood. What? Like,
What?
it's crazy. Yeah.
That is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How have immigrant communities shaped LA in ways people might not fully appreciate?
And like, to quote Lin-Manuel Miranda, immigrants, we get the job done. Like, Los Angeles is built on immigrants. Like,
Mhm.
the first pobladores of Los Angeles were 33 people from Sonora, Mexico area that came over here and started el pueblo de Nuestra Señora, la Reina del Río sobre el río por Cíncula. That was the original name of Los Angeles. So it's from the
Wow.
beginning, immigrants have played a huge role, and every wave of immigration that's come after just makes this place better. The diversity is our strength. I don't care what anybody says.
Very well said. Oh, that's beautiful. And now we're going to do our this or that questions.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you a list of questions and then you just
Mhm.
pick one. Don't expand on it.
Let's do it.
Okay. 35 millimeters or 16 millimeters?
35 millimeter.
Black and white prints or color prints?
Black and white, baby.
Burning CDs or recording tapes?
Oh, burning CDs.
Burning CDs, this one. Physical film reels or digital restoration files?
Physical all the way.
LA museums or LA historical landmarks?
Historical landmarks.
What's your favorite LA historical landmark?
Rapid Fire Pasadena has a plaque where the first cheeseburger was invented. We invented the cheeseburger in Pasadena.
I like that. I like that. I love cheeseburgers. The Broad or the Getty Museum?
The Getty.
The Getty's nice. SGV Asian food or San Fernando Valley Mexican food?
So I haven't spent a lot of time in the SFV, so I'm gonna have to say the SGV.
Yeah. You got to come out here. In-N-Out or a local hood burger joint?
Oh, local hood burger joint.
My local burger joint was Chris's Burgers in La Puente by Bassett High School.
I've had it. Yeah.
Their chili cheese fries were like the best.
Yeah, my local spot was Gus Burgers in Huntington Park. R.I.P. Gus Burgers. Yeah.
Your favorite freeway to drive through?
Oh, I don't think people. Oh, you know what? The 2. The 2, because it's short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's short.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you want to take a chance to look at this camera here,
Okay.
plug your socials, tell
Sure.
people where they can find you, follow you, subscribe.
Sure. Yeah. So FooHowser.com, you can find everything there. And I'm Foo Howser on everything, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Blue Sky and Threads, all that good stuff. Foo Howser.
Foo Howser.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to drive out here and talk to us and let me ask you a million questions about what you do and for teaching us some really cool things. I really appreciate it. So much fun.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. Thank you.
Awesome. No, let's eat some donuts.
Let's eat some donuts.
All right. Bye guys.
Bye.